The Empire, or Disney. I meant Disney. Disney, not the Empire. Disney. Got it. Disney, in their attempt at global domination, released a streaming service called Disney Plus, featuring all Marvel films, except that pesky Sony-owned Spider-Man, all Pixar films, all 20th Century Fox properties, National Geographic with Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, Disney basically owns him now, too. Your entire childhood, your firstborn child, and a bunch of original films and television series. One said series? The Mandalorian. See, I think it sounds like a half-man, half-DeLorean time-traveling cop, but, that's just me. It's actually a Star Wars series. A wise, terribly attractive, and dashingly funny man, me, watched The Mandalorian and is passing off his very important opinion to you of all the amazing qualities he, aka me, holds. Being hyper-analytical is his, aka my, best quality. You're welcome. Humility is my third best quality, not that you asked. Anyways, The Mandalorian, well, I have a lot to say. My first impression of the first episode was, well, it was somewhere between boring and intriguing. Keep in mind, this is the very first episode. Visually, it was phenomenal. There's no questions about that. The color palette works wonders. It's amazing what $12 million an episode can do visually. They spared no expense, and the CGI isn't noticeable, and that's a good thing. Basically, I never found myself being reminded that I'm watching a show due to crappy CGI. It's flawless. Writing-wise, my complaints mostly sit on the emptiness I felt emotionally towards The Mandalorian at first. He is supposed to be on par with, Western outlaws, It's kind of a Star Wars Western. The good bad guy, Clint Eastwood, no-nonsense, speak only when you must, lone gunman type of character. It makes sense because he's a bounty hunter. At first I thought, there's nothing relatable about this character. Does he even have a name? Mandalorian is his ethnicity. That'd be like me wearing a Boba Fett helmet and everyone just calling me the Cracker. Wait, actually, I may do that. Everyone start calling me the Cracker, now. I digress. I found myself very underwhelmed throughout the first episode. The dialogue seemed campy, and when it wasn't campy, it was kind of lacking. The first scene is in a cantina. It's a Star Wars staple, of course, cantinas are, but also it felt like a callback to the Luke in the cantina scene, he doesn't like you, and all that jazz. It was really close. Except it plays out more like an episode of Gunsmoke. It is definitely a weird start. The music took me by surprise as well. It's not bad. Upon review, it actually fits, but it's definitely odd. Then again, Star Wars is known for odd music in cantinas. Also, I jumped the gun and wrote off Nick Nolte's character a bit too early because I felt the dialogue was garbage. But as I watched, I actually found his simplistic speak was a quintessential part of his character. Endearing, if you will. The supporting cast was very funny, very entertaining, but at the time I felt zero direction. Pace was clunky, which left me with mixed feelings towards the Mandalorian himself. After all, if we, the audience, cannot relate to the protagonist, then it makes for crap television. There's a flashback scene that kept cutting from what I presume was the Mandalorian as a child to the present, where you're supposed to see the protagonist's reaction to his past trauma. It's a dive, a sneak peek into his past, a bit of backstory, but it was ultimately ineffective. Something was just weird about watching this childhood trauma juxtaposed to his blank, emotionless helmet. Oh yeah, and did I mention he never removes his helmet? Because he doesn't. I'm 99% sure he doesn't even remove it during sex. Does he shower? What happens? Ew, it's gotta be awful under there. But still, when it cuts to an emotionless steel mask where we, the audience, is used to seeing a human, well, it didn't feel like a show I could keep watching. It was almost funny. I shouldn't be laughing that he had some childhood trauma, And that's how I felt pretty much the entire first episode, up until the last scene. The very end of episode 1 left me wanting more in a way I did not expect, and the body language performance was stellar. In fact, the ending of episode 1 saved the entire episode. I would compare it to episode 1 of Game of Thrones. It's like this boring, blah, 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 and then the last 30 seconds, you're hooked. You're calling your friends, talking about incest and tiny Lannisters. So, episode 2 of The Mandalorian completely follows suit with Game of Thrones. Well, follows in so much as the writing is great and leaves you wanting more. Understand, Disney doesn't show us gratuitous sex scenes, boobies, dragon queens, and gore. That'd be rad, though. Plus, we'd get to know if the nameless bounty hunter removes his helmet during sex, so that would be cool. I digress again. Episode 2 was phenomenal. Spoiler alert for the ending of episode 1 and all of episode 2. You've been warned. So basically, there's a little baby, whatever species Yoda is, right? There's a little, like, Yoda Jr. looking thing. It's 50 years old, but they age slow or something. I don't know. It's also freaking adorable. I want one. I need one. Make it so. Yes, that was a Star Trek reference. Deal with it, nerd. Anyways, at the end of episode 1, our favorite faceless protagonist and another bounty hunter, a droid bounty hunter, are supposed to kill the adorable green Jedi-powered 50-year-old baby Yoda thing. But the Mandalorian puts a laser in the bot's freaking droid head, saving Yoda Jr. The entire second episode explores the Mandalorian's strength, you run into Jawas, and it's an abruptly great change from the first episode. I felt a bit more of a kinship with the Mandalorian, and call me crazy, but I even think I saw a cold, emotionless metal mask give a wink and a smile. Just as watching this bounty hunter protect what he was hired to kill brought a smile to my cold, emotionless, empty face. And excited me enough to recommend this show to everyone. It's the best thing Star Wars has put out in a long time. Did I just hear coughing? I need absolute silence, people. So perhaps the Empire, or perhaps Disney has hit a home run. I know I'll be waiting for future episodes. Anyways, that's all I had to say about that, guys. I don't know why I'm speaking. Anyways, that's all I had to say about that. I'll link all my social media stuff down below. I really enjoy the conversations that we have when we have them, especially over on Twitter. Twitter's fun. So, yeah. Much love, guys. Peace out.